Cameron County Commissioners have approved a 10-year tax break related to a potential shipyard in Brownsville. Regional water reservoirs receive a boost from the latest rainfall. And who in the United States is at the highest risk of stroke? This is South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday, June 17th. On Tuesday, Cameron County Commissioners unanimously approved a 95% tax break for Saronic Technologies for it to build military and commercial ships at the port of Brownsville. The vote ended with all commissioners present voting in favor. 2 commissioners were not present for the vote. Saronic Technologies, an Austin-based maritime defense technology company, is looking at the port as a possible site for a new shipyard. The company creates AI-driven autonomous surface vessels or self-directed ships for possible naval warfare. The tax break covers 10 years, and the county's agreements are valued at about $211 million over the 4 phases of the project, beginning in 2029. The company's proposed Port Alpha shipyard project is expected to create 10,000 permanent jobs within the first 10 years of operation. The timing of the New World screwworm outbreak has wildlife officials worried about its potential impact on Texas deer. Texas Public Radio's Tim Gutierrez reports.
The flesh-eating parasite spreads when flies lay eggs in open wounds of warm-blooded animals. Wildlife is especially vulnerable because, unlike livestock, wild animals cannot be easily treated. South Texas veterinarian Dr. Galen Wilmeth Burleson says deer are facing a dangerous moment right now.
We are right smack dab in baby time for our deer. And it's the same thing. They get in the navel of the deer, and those little fawns can't overcome the source. And it can affect our bucks as well. So a lot of our bucks at the moment are growing antlers, and they have that velvet on their antlers. And if they get a scratch or a bump on those antlers, that's considered an open wound. The screwworms can get in there and kill those guys too.
Dr. Wilmeth Burleson says her father remembers a time when screwworm infestations left South Texas with far fewer deer than it has today. Wildlife officials hope early detection can prevent a repeat of that history. Texas Parks and Wildlife is urging hunters, ranchers, and landowners to report suspected wildlife cases immediately. I'm Tim Gutierrez in San Antonio.
Taking a look at regional water reservoirs now, the Texas Water Development Board reports that Lake Corpus Christi climbed to 29.1% capacity today after recent rainfall. Choke Canyon Reservoir continues to rise slightly. It's now at 8.4%. Lake Texana also keeps a near full supply at 98.7%. In the Rio Grande Valley, the Amistad Reservoir remains at 29.4%, with the Falcon Reservoir rising to 24% capacity. Brownsville Mayor John Cowan Jr. and the City Commission have selected Alan Gard to serve as Brownsville's next city manager. The decision was made during the regularly scheduled City Commission meeting on Tuesday. Gard now enters contract negotiations with Mayor Cowan following the commission's selection. Gard has served as interim city manager and holds an International City-County Management Association credentialed manager designation, as well as Certified Government Finance Officer credentials. Meanwhile, in Victoria, Mallory Crabb has been hired as the Community Center Supervisor for Parks and Recreation. She will oversee operations of the newly christened Gary Moses Community Center. She previously worked for Spring Creek Place Event Center in Victoria for 6 years as a venue operations manager and event coordinator. She also holds an Associate of Arts from Victoria College. The events at the 2026 Juneteenth Festival this weekend in Corpus Christi will now take place indoors. Friday's Juneteenth Festival Liberation After Dark dance is scheduled to take place at the Omni Hotel downtown. Saturday and Sunday's Juneteenth Festival events will now be held at the University Center on the campus of Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. We now go to sports. A nationwide effort is seeing groups of community organizers ensure that fear of immigration officials are not keeping people from gathering to watch a FIFA World Cup match. KERA's Priscilla Rice reports.
As part of the National No Ice in the Cup initiative, a group in North Texas is hosting watch parties and community events free of ice activity. Eva Arreguin is one of the organizers.
The World Cup deserves to be a safe space for families and peoples to unite and celebrate the sport of the people, soccer, football.
The first watch party is this Thursday at Gustos in Fort Worth. Arreguin and others will share preparedness kits that have information such as free legal resources in case someone is arrested by immigration officials. A second event is being planned in July in Oak Cliff. For KERA News, I'm Priscilla Rice in Dallas.
Meanwhile, back in Corpus Christi, the Corpus Christi Hooks postponed their homestand kickoff against the San Antonio Missions on Tuesday due to recent weather. Today's scheduled game will now be a doubleheader with 7 innings set for each game. First pitch for Game 1 will be at 4:30 p.m. And the Victoria Generals couldn't keep up with the Abilene Flying Bison as a 6-run 7th inning led to a 14-7 defeat on Tuesday. After the loss, the Generals are now in second place in the Texas Collegiate League standings. The Generals begin a 4-game homestand tomorrow as both the Sherman Shadowcats and the San Antonio River Monsters come to town. The CDC estimates that someone in the U.S. has a stroke every 40 seconds. Black Americans have the highest rate of stroke among all people in the U.S. In this week's segment of the KERA series Vital Signs, Dr. Ala Ahabid, a neurologist with Texas Health Plano, tells Sam Baker the reasons are tied to public health.
Black Americans are at higher risk and prevalence for hypertension, diabetes, obesity, socioeconomic status.
It's not genetics, it's not environmental factors or anything like that.
No, a lot of it can be related to also higher prevalence of high blood pressure. So these can be still genetic because they are at higher risk for it, and also treatment-resistant hypertension. So that's also another risk on why, and the obesity and the diabetes and the environmental and the socioeconomic status too, which is, can affect their diet, their ability to get into healthcare.
Is the word not getting enough to African Americans? Is it just a refusal to stop? What is it exactly?
I think access to medical care is one of the major barriers, I would say. And other things can be the awareness of the problem, because usually strokes are painless, right? So when we don't exhibit pain, we don't think about this is a major problem. And then the delay in the care means they don't go to the ER right away, then they are at risk for complications and permanent damage to the brain. Every minute that the patient, they don't show up to the ER, any 1 minute delay can kill 2 million neurons in the brain.
Stroke is really painless. You don't feel anything in the arm or anywhere in the body at the time it occurs?
It exhibits itself with symptoms of, either there's no blood supply going to that area or there is a hemorrhage or bleed. And usually both conditions, they don't cause pain, but they cause disability. It means people may have facial droop, loss of vision, inability to move their arms or legs, but usually these are painless.
Can you prevent stroke?
Yes, it's very highly preventative. There are things that patients need to work on to ensure prevention, because number one factor will be controlling the blood pressure. So usually blood pressure issues happens over years, and most of the people don't know, because again, also hypertension is a silent condition, means it doesn't necessarily cause any symptoms. Not usually headaches, not usually anything until patients develop stroke or heart attack.
Is it too simplistic to say one effective approach would simply be going to the doctor regularly?
I think so. I think monitoring, because as I said earlier, that blood pressure is one of the major things that we need to watch in these situations. So seeing doctors regularly will ensure that we keep an eye on the blood pressure. Then managing diabetes means managing the numbers of high cholesterol, also, quitting smoking, and if there is any need from the healthcare provider to provide some help and assistance on that. Also screening for other potential risk.
In other words, the potential for a stroke you can see ahead.
Right, yeah. The risk factors usually happens years before the stroke happen. Same with the heart attack.
Dr. Ala Ahabid is a neurologist with Texas Health Plano. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.